If you remember, he finished that off, OK, there's no pressure on it as much as there can be because he only did one frame. But he finished that frame off brilliantly. And the way he went about it, the way he struck the ball, I thought, ooh, you're not far off playing like you did in the earlier rounds. His scoring today is telling you that 63, 95, 58, 141. You know, as it was said last night in commentary, he's going to win this match, he's got to score. It's exactly what he's doing.
And I wonder, Steve, you know, when you look back at the end of the Sunday play from 10 years ago, John had a 12-4 advantage from which, OK, Mark Selby climbed back into it, but never really recovered. And you wonder to what extent that might be just starting to enter his head at this point.
Well, you haven't got a clue what's going to happen, and we're all sitting here just looking at and admiring these two players. What you do know from Mark Selby is he's got loads of resilience.
He's proven that time and time again. The defending champion is under real pressure in this opening session of the World Championship final.
Yes, he was under pressure a couple of times against Ding Junhui, came through, but I think this is a different sort of pressure because he hasn't been behind early on in a match, and this is every chance now after the very poor break-off. He could well be trailing 6-2 going into tonight's session. I know it's early days and it's the best of 35, but a 4-frame lead at any time. Mark Selby was 2-5 favourite to win this match. If it goes 6-2, I think you'll get even money each of two.
One. Sure.
Well, there's another 4 reds available.
Five.
And if he could knock in the size of a break here after that poor break-off shot from Mark Selby, it will give Mark something to think about before this evening session. He's left it too low. He'll still take it on, but another 3 or 4 inches and he would have been perfect. He'll still play the shot because he's going to open up the reds. But the pot's slightly thinner than it should have been. Now he's overcut it. It was the previous shot that caused the problem
Higgins,
there.
12.
He'll be a little disgusted with himself because what a chance he had there.
I think they were having a conversation with him, Mark and John, after the opening frame, and where they were discussing the fact that this black cushion was playing very slow, and that's why he played with so much disappointment. That was the thing, he got down with that shot with disappointment because he hadn't got on the red properly. Let's just see how this springs off the cushion if he plays it really slow. That seemed to come up pretty high enough, didn't it?
One.
I mean, the playing conditions these days are fantastic for the players.
8.
You know, lively cloths, ball's just slightly lighter. You couldn't have better conditions to play.
9.
The only worrying thing about this chance from Mark Selby, he hasn't made a break above 30 since frame 3.
And there's
16.
Mark this time coming up a little bit short on a similar shot to the one John played, but he can hold this up for the blue without a problem.
70.
He's got a choice here. There's plenty of loose reds. Pink's tied up. Could risk playing the cannon into the pink and reds. It's a bit risky though. He's done it. How's it worked out?
$22.
A little harder and it would have been perfect.
Yes, he can't play this slow enough to stay on the black, and he's just looked at the gap where the white is now between those two reds, potting this and going through the same gap as where he's got the rest now, trying to get onto the blue. He hasn't got the gap. That's a very, very poor shot.
23.
You can see the disappointment. Still hasn't made a break of 30 in the last 5 frames. Big gap, wasn't it, Dennis? You know, 6-inch gap. You think he'd get through there?
I don't think he had any side on it. He just played a plain ball and he'd misjudged it.
Green ball. Mark Selby, 23.
I think John can play the one that's behind the pink as a shot to nothing. I think he can see that to pot it and bring the white back down the table. That's the one he can pot in the circle and play the safety shot off. Now he's come down. Well, he's played the other one, which is even better. So he had a red either side there, but on the brown, and he can go back to the reds. This is a big shot. It's there.
Well, that was one of the best shots John Higgins has played in this session. The reason I say that, because he'd been excited thinking, well, if this goes in, I've got every chance I can win the frame and be 6-2 in front.
Six.
And what a start to this final it would be from the Flying Scotsman. Well, that's terrific. He's up at 94%.
11.
And the worrying stat was the 89 for Selby. That was the worrying stat. Long pot is in front in that department. Miles in front of in the safety because Selby's been missing. He's been under pressure a couple of times in the match with Ding. Came through that. Fantastic match. Just looks a little fatigued at the moment. Needs something to happen to get his confidence back. Been kept off the table in the last 4 frames, but he has missed some easy balls.
$17.
And that cannon turned out to be perfect, didn't it? Needs to get to 62 points.
$80.
Mark Selby, I'm sure, sitting in his chair, is realising now he's going to be 6-2 behind and would probably have to win the next 2 sessions, 5-3, 5-3 to get level, and that's hard to do against any player.
25. $26.
Just got to keep his focus here. That seemed to jump a little bit. He's having the cue ball clean, but it didn't affect the last shot. Let's have a look at it. Not much of a kick. Oh, he didn't want that. Now that spoiled things. It just shows you what can go wrong. It's just fractions. If he slips past that red, he's absolutely perfect. He's 22 ahead. He's still on the red, but just watch as he catches that. Makes it a little bit more difficult now. And he's cannon into the pink, and
you wouldn't really want to push the pink safe as well. That's going to be the problem with this red.
and you wouldn't want to pop the pink in the middle pocket when you play this either. So he's screwed it. It's worked out 34 perfectly. One more good positional shot, and Mark Selby knows.
Don't move your hands, please.
He could be 6-2 behind.
Pink ball.
Just a case of getting the pace right on this shot. Where's the brown? Why did he not play that up and down straight, Dennis, to finish on 2 reds in the left-hand corner? Well, because of that pink goes on its spot. That'll do it. Right, 29 ahead. Red killer red.
He's still got to get to that red next to the pink, and he'll have to do it off the yellow with the rest. From frame 3 onwards, he's been at 97% pot success rate. Yeah. He's just made this a little awkward. 32 ahead.
43.
Red and any colour from the brown upwards. He just needed to hit that a little harder. Now he's got the extension on the cue. There's a wee bit of pressure on this pot, that's for sure.
Makes it slightly easier, the fact that the green's safe and there's that last red safe. See the redness coming in his face there with he knows how big a shot this is, and he's gone. How's the cue ball going? He's okay.
44.
They're delighted, and his son there over the moon with what his dad's doing at the moment. This is some performance. The white's not going to go. 41 years of age, and he's out here in the final of
49.
the World Championship. I think there was just someone just moving on the front row there.
Could do with this red in, of course, because Mark Selby's a past master at getting snookers. A long way away, but John Higgins.
John Higgins, 49.
He's in that position where he just hopes that Mark Selby doesn't get snookers. Look at the gentleman in the front row for some reason. I don't know whether he was moving on, not on this shot, the previous shot. When he was playing the red stretching, he must have caught him in the corner of his eye.
Yeah, if the player's playing towards you, you know, they usually know to keep perfectly still. There's an awful lot of new people at the Crucible this year. I've met throughout the 17 days. They've come from all over the world just to get a seat in the Crucible Theatre. Very tough to get hold of a seat.
That was nearly an excellent shot. If he'd left himself hampered on the pink and got the snooker, it'd been very tough to impart the right-hand side on. You can see how he's having to cue above the pink to get the side on. He's playing the other side of the blue, but that was almost a very, very good snooker. Just wonder whether he's going to cut the red onto the green and try and snooker him behind yellow and brown. Can't get the cue ball back at this end of the table, so that may be a good choice. Just looking at an angle now whether he can cut the red onto the green. If you can get glued on either the yellow or brown, that would be a tough snooker to hit.
John Higgins tapping the table with his chalk again. Tough angle because he's so close to the cushion to pick this angle out. Yeah. Good escape, because it wasn't as easy as it looked, that shot, that's for sure. But John knows only too well that this frame's far from safe against this man.
I don't know what angle he has on this red. He may decide to, if he can get on the black, he may decide to pop this red, but if he can't get on the black or the pink, he won't.
Well, he could get on the black, but he wants to keep the red on the table, doesn't he? Just to give himself more options. Well, that's a clever shot. That is a clever shot. Just to bring the green into play. That was all he was doing there. It shows you how positively Mark Selby's thinking, because now he knows if he gets the snooker and gets a chance with the green off the cushion, he could quite easily pinch this final frame of this session. That hit it too thin that time to get in behind the black. Can't see enough of this to take the cut on. No. Going to be a tense end to this session.
He hasn't really had a great chance to lay a snooker as yet. So it's always key in this situation to make sure you get the object ball safe. So if you can't guarantee getting a snooker, just make sure you don't leave any chance of a pot.
mistake that John Higgins has been waiting for. One pot, and it's 6-2. What a result for John Higgins.
Just when we talked about make sure you get the object ball safe, kissing into the yellow, leaving the red in open play. But John Higgins realised what a big shot that was. His heart would have been in his mouth there, thinking, well, that's it, I'm 6-2. Just shows you can't take anything for granted.
Yeah, it's just the scoreline that caused him to miss that. He knows how big this frame is, and he knows that Mark Selby's still in it.
It's funny, Dennis, isn't it? If he was 30 points behind playing that last red, he'd have potted it every single time.
Well, that's unlike Mark Selby. He's usually getting closer to getting in behind the black than that. But John Higgins just can't wait to see the back of this red ball. And that'll do nicely. If he plays the swerve shot, he might go close to potting this red off the cushion. That's okay. He knew he might get close to potting it, and he's on the black. You still only need the one snooker, but it's a must pot black.
I was just looking at John Higgins as Mark Selby was playing that swerve, and his face dropped when he saw the red going. But that black was really tough. Mark Selby just potted. So this frame's still alive. What an effort this is. Not quite hard enough.
These players will be back on at 7 o'clock this evening, so there's not much of a rest for them. Well, this is better. And look where the yellow's going. Usually you prefer a 2 cushion escape rather than the 1, so all of a sudden he's got to hit this one. He's putting lots of side on it to come off 2 cushions. Well played. Might get one back again. No, dear. Well, he's looking up, he's smiling.
That'll
but I
do,
think
thank you.
John can just play a little swerve shot, hit the cushion, and get the yellow. Well, maybe it's a bigger swerve than I first thought. Dear me, what a flick he's had on the black there. Surely he couldn't pinch this frame.
It looks an easier snooker to hit coming off the back cushion, doesn't it? But there's just enough room around the back of the yellow. Looking at the swerve again.
Where's the cue ball? He's okay.
What a brilliant escape that was. So close to swerve them when you've only got 2 or 3 foot. Just flick the yellow.
Well, John didn't want to see the blue heading over there. It's in a better position than on its spot. You want the colour near to a cushion when you're looking for snookers. So the best 2 balls at the moment are the blue and the black. Now where's this yellow going? This is a much more difficult shot than the red that John missed about 5 minutes ago.
It was amazing enough, it was 12 minutes ago, Dennis, that red was missed. He should be in his hotel room now with a cup of tea.
Decided to attempt the snooker rather than risk potting the yellow.
This is the longest frame of the match, and you'd expect that with players playing for snookers. You can see the yellow full ball, but you can't see the right-hand side of the yellow. Probably hope the yellow will kiss into the black here and still try and get the white behind the brown. We've played it very, very thin. That was a bit dangerous to play it thin. I thought you could have pushed the yellow over the corner.
He thought he had that one. He'd like to keep the yellow on the table, but the fact it's so close to the pocket, he might just have to pot it and then play for the snooker on the green.
2.
Magnificent angles we can get now. There's down to 1 table. Cameras are high, cameras down low. The brown's in the way, Dennis, isn't it, to swing this cue ball off 3 cushions to get behind the black. So he's going to have to play this green. He doesn't want the green to cannon into the blue when playing this stun shot. Wants the green back in open play. Well, he's played a different way. This could be the end of frame. Completely mishit
Selby,
that.
2.
Playing in half ball, called it quarter ball. He can't believe it, Selby. He walked from the table in disgust. He's looking at the television screen to find out whether this green's going in first. It's there. A very relieved John Higgins having missed that last red. He'd have been having half an hour's more rest going into tonight's second session. But now the frame is safe. Mark Selby comes to the table knowing they both need the red. What a great session for John Higgins. He's won 6 of the 8 frame. His family delighted. John Higgins goes into tonight's session leading by 6 frames to 2.